Drew Bernard, today's guest, is the energy lead and a proud member of Lennox Island First Nation in Prince Edward Island. A graduate of Energy Systems Engineering Technology at Holland College, Drew has spearheaded energy initiatives in his community. Projects like energy evaluations on all community homes and buildings, conducting an energy opportunities assessment, and things like installing 65 heat pumps to initiate the electrification of on reserve heating systems. Pretty cool, huh? Now, currently, Drew is focused on significant wind and solar projects across PEI with the ultimate goal of creating a net positive microgrid owned and operated by Lennox Island First Nation in the future. Drew is coming up next. Hi, Drew. Thanks for coming.
Hi, Amanda. Thank you so much for having me. Very excited to be here today.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you too. We got a lot of good questions to ask, but we're going to dive right on in here. And that is what got you interested in renewable energy?
Well, renewable energy, when I first got into it, really what got me excited was just finding different options there are. Whenever I first thought of renewable energy, obviously a lot of people think of solar and wind, and those are the big ones, biomass and things like that. But whenever I started taking my course at the Energy Systems Engineering Technology at Holland College, we really were able to dive into the kind of mix of energy systems that we have here in Canada. And it was just so exciting to realize just how many different technologies are being created right now during this energy transition. But I would say now, I was not kind interested at the start, but now I'm really interested to see renewable energy is just the thought of what is going to happen to our grid in the future. Like, what is renewable energy going to do to change the landscape of the energy use that we have today? Back a long time ago, they started these utilities and started sending electricity out to people, and that really shaped our energy mix for hundreds of years. And then that's just what we knew the energy mix to be. But now when we think of renewable energy, I think of how that's going to change the landscape of our grid here today. And, there's just so many different changes that are going to be happening, different, localized distributed energy all over the place, and microgrids popping up all over the place that really come to create a grid that isn't so centralized like it used to be. So that's what really excites me. Is thinking like that, those long-term thinking of how is this going to change our everyday lives, and what can we do to make sure that we're well positioned during that energy transition.
Lennox Island First Island, you're in the assessment and the feasibility phase, for many of your projects. I mean, you need to find things out first, what works. So tell everyone a little bit more about what you're working on in these projects.
Yeah, certainly. We have really big goals and big visions here on Solid First Nation. We, like I said, we are in really the planning stage of things. We want to really tackle some large projects here in Lennox Island, and like I said, looking forward on that energy transition, like where can we be positioned level in this energy mix, and we really see the opportunity to achieve some utility scale projects in Prince Edward Island that'll help lift a footplace and have a seat at the table as a large independent power producer in the province. So we are getting those initial planning stages. We're doing an 18 megawatt wind project in the central PEI, which we are soon to be nearing the completion of the environmental assessments and hopefully signing the power purchase agreement later this summer. And for 38 megawatt solar project, we completed a pre-feasibility study, which will help us to understand the work that needs to be done for that project. And now we're also planning to continue to the own activities, things like doing engineering drawings and doing a T their study goes next to the highway. Um, just getting, an Indigenous knowledge study, something that we really try to attach to any product that we do is an Indigenous knowledge study so that we understand the significance of the areas that we develop energy projects and before we develop them, because after they're done, we want to be able to tell a story. You know, if that story starts when we start the project, we want that story to start, thousands of years ago to understand how we use the land then, and then you can see how we use the land now. So those are our two major energy generation projects that we're in the planning stages for. These big projects, they don't come together very quickly. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in them. And, I've been working here for a few years now, and we're still in these, pre-development stages, but we are seeing some really great progress, and we're really excited to get these off and running and start construction, start showing them off and having people come visit our community.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait to be one of them and log in. One of your studies, I know, right? So one of your studies is the electrification, that's a big word, the electrification of your 45-foot fishing boats. You want to electrify those. So last summer was the initial study, I understand. And I'm coming up this summer, the summer of 2024, is it's the feasibility and the infrastructure build. So what will this all look like? How will it come together?
Yeah, so I have this friend of mine position here at Energy. We started an energy opportunity assessment team down a lot of the data for our community to really understand our base load and the opportunities that we have all the plots of land to really dial down on some different opportunities. It's not what we're doing here at community engagement. That's for that. Something that was talked about with electric boats, and for me that was really cool. There's so many other things that need to be done, energy efficiency projects and energy generation projects. But energy or electric boats was still not visible was on our radar, but was more of a long-term goal. And last year at an energy conference in Halifax, I was able to meet a company called Remote, and they specialized in electrification. And really, it's a really, really young industry. There's so many, so I'm sitting here around and, there's not a lot of people doing it. But I heard when Stephen talked to them afterwards, we both realized how well positioned we were to, make a difference in Atlantic Canada and do some work that a lot of other people aren't really doing. So, they seemed on our vision board that we were talking about electric boats, and they really just worked out perfect. And last summer we were able to acquire some funding to do an initial energy battery study, and that really helped us to understand the energy demand on our vessels, to see what they would need for battery storage and things like that. And so now that we have that data this summer, we are hoping to complete a feasibility study on both the vessel electrification as well as the shoreside infrastructure for charging on those vessels. And we're really hopeful that we get some really concrete data out of those feasibility studies and really help us understand what's going to take. We are certainly very aware that it's going to be a really large capital cost, but we're hoping to leverage ourselves as first movers to get some funding and start testing some of this technology, because there's just so many lobster fishing vessels in Atlantic Canada, and if we can get on top of that and start doing some work on the electric side, maybe get an electric vessel, if not in this summer, the next summer, we do test the reliability on that and start showing that efficient across the Atlantic, and it's showing that this technology is possible. I would say that there's a lot of controversy around electric vehicles. These days, there's a lot of people saying that they're not really in for winter time and things like that. But one of the big things that we have in our corner that electrifying our vessels is just the fact that we only use those in the winter time. They don't really have to deal with that excessive cold and excessive rain on them. And there's a lot of technology now that really can seal off the compartments of those the batteries. A lot of people ask me electrifying, water and batteries don't go together well. Of course they don't, but there's systems that we can put in place to ensure that that's not going to be affecting our vessels. But certainly for us as a nation, we certainly value the reliability of our infrastructure, and that's going to be number one for us. But just forward to EVGR, we certainly want to be out there testing them, make sure they're reliable, and hopefully get a fully electrified fleet here in West Island, and add to our energy storage in our community for the 10 months of the year that are not used. That's a really valuable energy storage that we can have in our community, along with the benefits of having a non-carbon emitting fleet.
Wonderful. Recently, you had the opportunity to visit other First Nation communities, so you could learn from them, about their renewable energy projects. So, which ones stood out the most to you?
Yeah, I mean, we visited many different communities. There's a few that certainly stood out to me. I would say it would be the Middle Lake Tribal Council's biomass facility that they have with Saskatchewan. They take all the byproducts of big coal mill right there on site, and they create 6 megawatts of renewable energy just from that biomass. And along the last, we also went to see Vancouver, where they are using some of their sewage to actually heat pump. So they take a couple degrees off the raw sewage there. Have that in for, I think they only have a 3.3 megawatts heat pump line there now, but they are in the midst of installing 2 more of those to increase the capacity to 9.9 megawatts of heating into their grid there in Vancouver. And for me, just seeing these 2 different projects like that, I've seen many solar projects and projects, so a solar panel is a solar panel, and not wind turbine is a wind turbine, but to see these different projects first, really thinking out of the box and taking these products and getting some energy from that, it's really moving for me to see something like that, and it really makes you want to come back and think out of the box on where can you pull energy from that's not your obvious wind and solar, like what ways to me pull some energy out of. There's so many different opportunities in the energy mix for us to create energy, and really helpful last year when we're going to model some energy systems like that to add into our energy mix, because it's really going to take all different energies to really make this energy transition successful. There's a lot of the renewable energy systems are really reliant on the sun or reliant on the wind to be able to operate. But waste products are pretty constant. With the way that our capitalist society operates, they're always going to be fine. So if there's anything that we can do to capture some of that energy that was going to be lost in the list, then that's something that really inspires me to keep moving forward. And I would say along with that, we went to some different First Nations, and obviously for me, maybe some of the projects that really didn't stand out to me as much that what did stand out to me would see some of these small community-based projects like this, community that was involved and how much culture was involved with all these different projects that were across these First Nations, having different naming ceremonies and really cultural ceremonies during all these projects, and seeing the community come together with community engagement and having their second clue on that was really something that blew me away. There's like you said, for First Nation projects in Canada, I just have difference. They are compared to your average renewable energy project. So it was really amazing to see that, and really inspired me to come back to my community, ensure that I'm getting as much culture wrapped up in my projects as possible. And on the last note for that, I'll say something else that did blow me away was to see now set of struggles that women and Indigenous communities have in this energy transition. A lot of them are running diesel generators like year round. Some of them are using upwards 60 million liters diesel per year. just to heat their communities and have a little bit of power. And, we have to cycle brownouts for different people in that power during this time because they're almost only so much diesel, and especially whenever there's a storm or something that's off the guard from getting up to their community. It just really puts into perspective, you say how far this energy transition is, but some people have it harder in that transition. And even when it comes down to things like language, a lot of those small communities up north, they all are English speakers, and they really don't even have any words for some of these renewable energy systems. So just for them to educate their community, they have to get translations. They have to make up new words to be able to get the opportunity to even understand what this is, on top of the struggles of having to manage all these renewable energy systems out there and having the capacity to operate that. So I really learned a lot as part of that program this summer, and I'm really excited to continue my work with the Indigenous Clean Energy Organization as a mentor going forward.
Absolutely. The First Nations people are stewards of this land. And, how does, in your opinion, the energy transition fit into this statement?
But the energy transition really, it 100% falls into that. We got to steward to this land. We're trying to protect land, and I mean, the renewable energy as a whole and climate change really is the world's movements to be able to protect this land. So I really feel like, the rest of the world starting to think like the First Nations, like we're stewards of this land and have them looking now. Also, a lot of these stewards of this land, they want to they do what they can to protect us there because they're really seeing the detrimental effects that SRE has on this land. And, I feel that us as Indigenous communities really we had a lot of knowledge that's built into our culture and a lot of takeaways that the Western world can really take from that. So I really feel that we are going to be at the forefront of this, and as stewards of this land, it's really super important for us to do all that we can. And I really believe that we're very well positioned as we move forward in this transition, and I hope that we're the centerpiece for a lot of the work that's being done in this country.
What's next for Lennox Island First Nation?
What's next for Lennox Island First Nation is, getting these big energy projects off the ground and getting ourselves a seat as a large independent power producer in Canada. We certainly have really big goals, getting some of these projects off the ground and acquiring some own source revenue from that. But really, the Renewable is come back to Lennox Island First Nation and can be on a grid here on Island that we can really be proud of. With these expansion projects that we're doing now, they are located off island. We ran into some issues just with land and some different environmental concerns from being located in Maltech Bay, producing a nationally recognized as an important wildlife area. But that in the future, we want to come back and complete some kind of energy project and have a diversified energy use in some that will allow us to create our own sort of non-profit utility. Like here in where you can generate our own power and sell our own power to our own people, and acquire true energy sovereignty. That's what we believe. True sovereignty is being able to create by yourself and then provide for your people on your own. So, we have our water tower that provides our water sovereignty. We have a geofriendly greenhouse and gardens that we're really putting a lot of work into to address our food sovereignty. We have a state-of-the-art lagoon system waste treatment facility that helps us with our latest water years. And now we really feel like we're missing these our energy sovereignty. And so we're really looking forward and trying to figure out how we can carry our own power here and sell it from people that hopefully discount rate of what they're paying now with utilities. Yeah, I would say that's our end goal, is really to have these big energy projects generating money for us off island and making a difference for PEI, and then having a fully operational microgrid here in Lennox Island that generates power for our own people, and we internally operate that and call it our own. And you really feel like that's something that really isn't being done across Canada, and if we're able to figure that out and move forward on that, I think they'll really be a model for First Nation communities across the country to want to follow.
Excellent, Drew. Thank you so much for your time today and for letting us all know about your plans, your energy transition plans for Lennox Island First Nation. I'd love to have you back in the future just to get an update on all of these projects, and when the feasibilities and all of the assessments are done, come back. I'd love to chat with you. Get an update.
It was really, really great being here today. I really, really appreciate your interest in renewable energy and your excitement around their projects, and I'd be very, very happy to speak to you at any time. Yeah, I just saw proud.
Lennox Island First Nations renewable energy transition is underway, thanks to people like Drew Bernard. Thank you for listening in. I'm your host, Maria McGowan.